680 CJOB, Winnipeg's News, Today's Talk.
It is Mackling and Megarry. We'll check in with Hal Anderson in our next segment to find out what's coming up on Connecting Winnipeg. But right now, Mr. Mackling, we are so excited for our next guest.
And I'm so excited for you, Brett, because when I saw this come over the wire, as we might say, I was like, we shall have in our studio the Macho MANitoban. We want to talk about a Savage tribute. Debuts at the Fringe Festival coming up right here in downtown Winnipeg later on this July. And if we were on television, our next guest would need zero introduction. But, Brett, I suspect you have a special introduction for our guest right now.
The Macho MANitoban. Welcome to 680 CJOB.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me on the broadcast. And, wow, you guys are way up here, 30 floors high. Yeah, I can see that smoke all around Manitoba. That's right there. I'm going to get myself an industrial fan and blow it away, for clear skies. Yeah.
Well done. So, okay, for those who are not familiar, and I think you don't have to be a wrestling expert to be familiar with the Macho Man, but for those who maybe are not or just need a reintroduction, can you tell us about the Macho Man?
Well, I'd be delighted now. The Macho Man is the inspiration. Yeah, he's the source of what I'm doing here. Randy Savage was the wrestler from the 80s and 90s that lit up the scene, particularly with his romantic inclinations. Miss Elizabeth and Randy had a love story that captivated the audiences. And that is why I'm doing a show this summer called Randy and Elizabeth, a Savage love story. Very, very close. You get the second place prize there. Randy and Elizabeth, a Savage love story, is a tribute to Randy Macho Man Savage, who was in the Spider-Man movies. He had a rap career. He sold the Slim Jims, and he was multiple-time World Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the world. Yeah, so nice I said it twice right there.
So the relationship between Elizabeth and yourself, Macho Man, it was the source of a lot of rumors. It was the source of a lot of jealousy, I would suggest.
Speculation. Yeah, that's right.
What was the true nature of Elizabeth and your relationship back in the day?
Well, I can tell you this, that Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Elizabeth got married in 1984. And they went to the WWF and decided to keep that marriage secret and to portray a completely different dynamic. Now, Randy Savage was an intense guy, I will grant you that. But when they got to the WWF, he turned into a complete brute. Pointing fingers, barking orders, no manners whatsoever. And everybody hated him. I hated him. I wanted to see Jake the Snake DDT the Macho Man and take the gold because he was so obnoxious. But as time went on, he pulled what's called a face turn. Do you know what a face turn is, Brett?
That's right. It means he became a good guy.
Correct. Yeah, we got some knowledge here. Yeah, we got the intelligence factor. Yeah. He turned face, and everybody began to cheer him. But guess what? He turned bad again. And then he turned good again. Oh, man, we're talking about a long career that people can still enjoy with the Coliseum videos, WWE.com. But Savage is recognized as the greatest intercontinental champion there ever was, elevating the belt and the status of the title. And again, touching the hearts of all the people in the WWE universe. And if you come to see my show, you will see a very romantic moment, I hope. And I'm trying to recapture the drama and the story and also some of the humor of me being a wrestling fan. I have been watching. I was more focused on it in the 80s and 90s, and then, life happens, and I don't quite have my eyes on the prize anymore, but I am excited to debut at the Winnipeg Fringe this summer, and I'm also available for Machograms. Yeah.
Machograms.
Yeah, dig it.
Well, and the impersonation, it doesn't feel like it's an impersonation. Everything is nailed. The cadence,
very much.
the voice, even the actions with the fingers. You know, Macho Man likes to point his fingers up.
Yeah.
So how long
Everything but the muscles. Yeah, I just decided that I wouldn't go full blown Macho Man, because it's a little out of my league, the physique of the Macho Man. I do my best.
How long did it take you to perfect this craft of becoming the Macho MANitoban?
Well, I started impersonating the Macho Man when I was just 15 years old, and I got my first look at him on Saturday night's main event when he was wrestling George the Animal Steel. The next day, I was telling all my friends, I said, I'm going to take that hairy bozo and hurt him real bad, yeah. And I never stopped. I enjoyed working at a dinner theater where they allowed me to portray Macho Man, and I put on a costume, and I would do it every night. I'd be serving soups and clearing plates and taking drink orders as the Macho Man. And I did a singing telegram back in the day where I went and sang the YMCA song, The Macho Man. Macho, Macho Man. And that's what I'm hoping to do once again. Look out, Disney princesses, because I got a big flying elbow for Snow White and Cinderella. Yeah, I'm muscling in on the birthday party entertainment scene. Dig it.
So, this guy, Geoff Hughes, have you listened to his podcast, Legendary Wrestling Obsession? Is this any good?
Oh, yeah. If you like retro 80s wrestling and two pals talking about their fond memories of all that good action back in the 80s, then yeah, I recommend you check out Legendary Wrestling Obsession, the podcast. It's available at Podbean and all streaming services. So what we do is we talk about wrestling matches. We often do a blow-by-blow. So if you're just listening, you can hear us say, and then the collar and elbow results in a snapmare, and then he climbs the top rope, and it's kind of like wrestling for the visually impaired. We talk about the shoot stories, the drama backstage, and we recall all the good times we had making bootleg tapes, going to wrestling matches, and the stories that I listen to now are very entertaining. They were wrestlers that I hated back in the day, the Nasty Boys. I didn't like the Nasty Boys, but now I listen to their interviews, and Jerry Saggs is actually well-spoken, reasonable, intelligent, and a good storyteller. Hilarious. So I tell one story that Jerry Saggs told on the internet. I borrowed it, and I have to warn you, some of the humor does get a little bit locker room because the wrestlers, after all, they like to play practical jokes on each other. Ribs. Yeah, some of them were pretty innocent, like shaving eyebrows or, hiding sanitary napkins in the wrestlers' duffel bags. But I know a wrestler. His name was Warren, Agent Orange, and he told me one time he snuck Jell-O into Hulk Hogan's boots. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Now, Agent Orange would take his orange Jell-O powder, and when the referee wasn't looking, he would blind you with it. So that made the perfect rib for Hogan. And get this, a couple of years later, I met Hulk Hogan in the flesh. No way, it's true. And I had a chance to say, do you remember the Jell-O? And he smiled and nodded. Warren was all the way legit, man. Agent Orange told the truth. How about that?
Wow. That's remarkable.
Okay, that wasn't exactly locker room. I kept the gross stuff for the show.
Well, and one of the things that, I know that you mentioned you're not up to speed on the current wrestling, so I won't ask you questions about that. But one of the things that I've really enjoyed about getting back into wrestling is I forgot how passionate the wrestling fan base is. And you're clearly a super fan, and so do you enjoy that aspect, like wrestling? And I know it's an odd community, but it really does feel like a community.
I would agree with that. Now, even as I waited in the lobby this morning, a complete stranger got a look at me and said, "Can I take a photo?" And of course, I'm very happy to take a photo with anybody because that tells me somebody cares. Somebody has a feeling about this character and good memories, and if they want to stop and take a picture with a stranger, that's good vibes right there. Yeah, I'll never say no to anybody who wants to express their enjoyment of professional wrestling, and there is something that goes right to the root. People want stories, and they want good to triumph over evil. And that's what professional wrestling gives us. The satisfaction of justice being served. And that's why the Macho Man was so good, because when he was bad, he was real bad. Yeah, right there. And the greatest matches that Macho Man was in are the ones where he lost 1, 2, 3. WrestleMania 3, the greatest match of all time. Macho Man took a clean pinfall to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and they went down in history because the Macho Man knew to put his ego aside for the sake of the story and the enjoyment of the audience.
The audiences shall gather. Randy and Elizabeth, a savage love story by the Macho MANitoban. 10 shows throughout the Fringe Festival. The first one, 9 p.m., Thursday, July 17th. Venue 23, that's 188 Princess.
Wow, I gotta get this guy on the payroll here. This is excellent. Thank you. That's perfect right there, yeah.
Geoff, this has been absolutely spectacular. I mean, Macho MANitoban.
Well, I appreciate you guys hosting me. It's really nice to meet the both of you, and I look forward to maybe coming back and meeting you again sometime.
Oh, we'll definitely have you back for sure. The Macho MANitoban. The show is called Randy and Elizabeth, A Savage Love Story. Want to give us one more oh yeah before we let you go?
Yeah, let me just back off the mic a little bit. Oh, yeah!
9:47. We're checking in with Hal Anderson after we check your forecast on the start. One final thought on the Macho MANitoban and Randy and Elizabeth, A Savage Love Story at the Fringe Festival. There is a teaser for this if you want to see it on YouTube. If you just go to YouTube and type in the Macho MANitoban or Randy and Elizabeth, A Savage Love Story, you'll find it.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, God, yeah. That was so good. Because the impression was fantastic. Because the physical cadence is important, too. The Macho Man had a lot of weird physical quirks, the way he would hold his hands. So he had that down perfect. The vocal impression was great. But his insight into the character of Macho Man, his insight into professional wrestling fandom, I didn't quite know what to expect. I knew it would be fun. The insight that was gained there was great. So I got to check out this podcast.
And you're not going to miss that show.
I have to figure it out. I always say, I got to go to Fringe, and then I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure you go to that show. If I have to buy the tickets for you myself, you're going to see that show.
That's all the time we've got. Mackling, Megarry, Geoff Forte, and Master Control. We all say thank you for listening to 680 CJOB. Sarah McCarthy is Global News at 10. Next. Nobody